There is a quiet wisdom often overlooked in the noise of this world, the gentle truth that you too are worthy of care. In a world that praises self-sacrifice and relentless giving, it is easy to forget that a weary soul cannot pour strength into others. We speak often of kindness, of compassion, of love for neighbor, but rarely do we pause to consider that such love must begin within. You were never meant to be forgotten in the process of helping others. The light you carry cannot shine brightly if the flame within is dim. Perhaps it is not selfish, but sacred, to tend to your own heart, to rest when weary, to nourish your spirit, and to embrace the care your Creator intended for you. For only when your own well is full can you truly give life to others. There is a gentle whisper that echoes through the heart, one that often goes unnoticed beneath the thunder of duties, expectations, and noise. It is the whisper that says you too are precious, not because of what you do for others, not because of how much you give or how strong you appear, but simply because you are. You are not placed on this earth merely to run until you are weary, to serve until you are spent, to love others while forgetting your own soul in the shadows. No, you are fashioned with care, formed with intent, and cherished with a love that sees beyond your tasks and into your very being. You are not an afterthought in the story of creation. You are not a side character in someone else's tale. You are not a tool to be used, worn down, and discarded. You are a masterpiece in progress, a soul designed with purpose, a living reflection of the divine breath. And because of that, your well-being matters. Your rest matters. Your peace matters. The Creator who formed galaxies also formed your heart, and He did not do so carelessly. He did not create you merely to survive, but to flourish. Yet how easily we forget this. How quickly we believe that our worth is tied to what we do for others, how much we sacrifice, how little we need. We speak often of serving others, of pouring ourselves out, of laying down our lives, and these things indeed have value, but never at the cost of destroying the very vessel through which love is given. There is a sacred balance, a holy rhythm, and it begins with tending to your own soul. It is not selfish to care for yourself, it is stewardship. Just as one would tend a garden, not out of vanity, but because beauty and life must be nurtured, so must you tend to the garden of your own heart. It is not noble to run yourself dry, to bury exhaustion beneath a smile, to ignore the aching call of your own spirit. You are not meant to be the last on your own list. You are not meant to apologize for needing space, stillness, or solitude. Consider this. Even the earth rests, the tide pulls back, the sun sets, the fields lie fallow in their time. All creation honors the need for renewal. Why then do you push yourself beyond the rhythms of grace? Why do you believe you must earn your worth through endless motion? There is a truth we often forget. You cannot pour from an empty cup. No matter how willing the heart, a depleted soul cannot sustain the weight of others' burdens. Love given from a place of weariness becomes strained. Compassion offered from a place of exhaustion loses its warmth. And slowly, silently, the joy that once flowed so freely becomes a burden, not a blessing. This is not failure. This is simply the law of life. When we give without receiving, when we serve without replenishing, we eventually break under the very things we once carried with grace. And so you must return to your own well. You must refill the reservoir of your spirit, not only for your own sake, but for the sake of all you are called to love. True strength is not found in never resting. It is found in knowing when to pause, when to breathe, when to say, I must tend to myself before I can tend to anyone else. It is not weakness to rest. It is wisdom. Even the divine, after creating all that is seen and unseen, rested, not because he was weary, but because rest is sacred. It is woven into the fabric of wholeness. Yet we so often treat rest as a reward rather than a requirement, as a luxury rather than a necessity. We wear our exhaustion like a badge of honor and forget that our bodies, our minds, our hearts were never meant to carry such unrelenting weight. Rest is not merely physical. It is soul deep. It is the quiet space where healing happens, where clarity returns, where the still, small voice of God becomes audible again. In the rush of life, we lose ourselves, our joy, our identity, our peace. But in rest, we find them once more. There is no shame in stepping back. There is only strength in knowing when you must. To rest is not to give up. It is to gather strength, so that you may rise again, not with heaviness, but with renewed purpose. And this care, this tending to your inner world, is not only for your own benefit, it is part of a greater plan. The healing of one life touches countless others. When you choose to be whole, you become a wellspring for others to draw from. When you choose to nurture your soul, you become a living example of grace. When you choose to be at peace, you carry pain as your identity. You are meant to rise beyond it, to allow healing to do its quiet work in your soul. The wounds you carry are not shameful. They are places where light can pour in, but that light cannot come unless you first pause, acknowledge the ache, and give space for restoration. Your healing matters, not just because it brings you comfort, but because it brings you closer to your true self, the self that was always meant to live freely, joyfully, whole. Let no one tell you that caring for yourself is a distraction from your calling. It is part of it. Let no voice convince you that your needs are insignificant. They are sacred. Let no guilt weigh you down for choosing peace over pressure, health over hustle, stillness over constant striving. For in caring for yourself, you honor the one who made you. You become a faithful steward of the life you are given. And when you begin to see yourself not as a vessel to be emptied, but as a soul to be nurtured, everything changes. You walk differently. You speak with more grace. You love more freely, not out of duty, but from a place of overflow. Your boundaries become sacred spaces, not walls of fear. Your silence becomes a sanctuary, not a sign of weakness. And your life, your very presence, becomes a testimony that wholeness is not only possible, but divine. So take time, take space, take care, not as an indulgence, but as an offering. Tend to your body with kindness. Tend to your mind with gentleness. Tend to your heart with compassion. You are not a machine. You are not a project. You are a soul, tender and strong, growing and becoming. And you deserve to be cared for, not only by others, but first and foremost by yourself. There will always be work to do. There will always be needs to meet. But none of it will matter if you lose yourself in the process. You are not here to burn out in the name of goodness. You are here to live fully, to love deeply, to shine brightly. And that begins with the quiet, courageous choice to care for your own soul. You matter. Your well-being matters. Your rest matters. And in learning to care for yourself, you honor the one who entrusted you with this life. So take a deep breath and remember, you matter. Your well-being is not a luxury, it is a sacred responsibility. Caring for yourself is not a distraction from your purpose, but part of it. When you nurture your soul, you reflect the love that created you. When you rest, you honor the one who designed you to live, not merely survive. You are not here to burn out, you are here to shine. So choose peace, choose healing, choose rest. In caring for yourself first, you become the light you were meant to be, for yourself and for the world around you.